Welcome into Cardinals Today, presented by PrizePicks. And on today's show, we're looking at the top Arizona Cardinals free agent targets after their 7 NFL draft picks in the 2026 NFL Draft. Before we dive into that full list of players that could really help this franchise, I need to know, were you guys happy with the Cardinals draft? Type Y for yes, type N for no. So let me know how you were feeling about the Cardinals draft in 2026, all right? If you were happy about it, Y for yes. If you weren't, N for no. I want to know that, and let's get into this video. Officially welcome in to Cardinals Today. I'm your host, Joey O'Donohue. And that draft class I mentioned had some good players, really like the first 2 selections, and then, well, a little controversial from there. But Jeremiah Love's a home run pick. He's the best player in the entire class. I don't know why you complain about the best player in the entire class. And then Chase Basantes, a guard, that's what you needed. Interesting they went guard, not tackle, but I do like his game. I do like his size, his body. That's all going to help the Arizona Cardinals going forward. Carson Beck, maybe the controversial one here at the top of round 3. I mean, if you've been watching the show, you guys know I think it was a reach, and I'm not a fan of the pick at all, but some people, for some reason, really like it. Caleb Proctor, the first defensive player they ended up taking, and I like his game out of southeastern Louisiana. He's a big fella. And then Reggie Virgil, Carson Sharer, and Jaden Williams all could battle for some playing time in 2026. I like the depth that they're adding at those positions, specifically wide receiver, linebacker, and offensive tackle, which really could have been addressed earlier, and we're going to talk about that on free agent targets today. So number 1 player I have as a target for the Arizona Cardinals, Taylor Decker's still out there, folks. The former Lions offensive tackle, the veteran, the player who has achieved quite a decent amount in his career. Why not add Taylor Decker to the Cardinals offensive line room at 6'7", 320 pounds? He's a Pro Bowler in 2024, not too long ago, folks. And I get it. Taylor Decker plays left tackle. I think a guy with his experience would have no problem playing right tackle. Like, that's something you worry about for rookies. I don't think Taylor Decker is someone I worry about being able to make that switch if you don't want to run with Elijah Wilkinson, who you signed from Atlanta at right tackle this season. And when you compare the two last year, it's overwhelmingly in favor of Taylor Decker. I think he's a veteran that could really help get this done. And even he hasn't been signed yet. Maybe he'd do this for 1 year, like a 1-year stop-shop gap. Like, hey, we didn't draft an offensive tackle on the right side. Like, could you just come and fill that role here? We'll pay you for the year. Cardinals have some good cap space, and then we'll actually get a young offensive tackle on the right side in 2027. I mean, what does that sound like to you guys? You can see the sacks as well. Elijah gave up 6 last year and 12 penalties. Are you kidding me? Taylor Decker, less than half of that and only 2 sacks allowed. So that's why I'm opting for him to be on this list. I did think it was funny, though, that Elijah Wilkinson, he kind of was a winner of the draft because the Cardinals didn't opt to draft anyone to start over him. Maybe they really do have faith he could run that right side. But did anybody see Elijah Wilkinson going off on Instagram about his former Atlanta Falcons team? I can't show all the DMs that got leaked because, quite frankly, there's some words I don't know if I could say on YouTube or not, but this one specifically, somebody commented on his post, said, "Thank God you're gone." And he replied, "Good luck with that clown show over there." Plenty of messages where Wilkinson is absolutely clowning the Atlanta Falcons organization and the team and the mess they were last year when he was there. And so he was dying to come on over to the Arizona Cardinals, which not many people could say. So maybe Arizona sees something in him and wants to try him out as a starter. But I do think that Taylor Decker is a guy I wouldn't pass up on because he's still available somehow. So you let me know in the comments section what you think of this concept. Do you think the Cardinals should bring in another offensive tackle? Type S for sign one. Type D for don't. We're good with Elijah. I want your opinion, Cardinals fans. You watch this team year after year after year, right? So how would you feel about bringing in another OT? I got plenty more free agent targets I want to give to you guys. So I promise you it's going to be a good list. Don't go anywhere. But first, let's also give a special shout out to our friends over at PrizePicks. It is an app that I can't get enough of, and that is PrizePicks, the best place to win cash while you're watching sports. Playoff basketball is here, big golf tournaments, baseball's underway. If that's your thing, hey, I don't mind. I just love making sports daily fantasy lineups because I love watching sports. You guys can follow me on the app and see all of my lineups. The username is JoeyOD1. Get my picks before I post them here on the show. You can also follow your friends, share lineups with each other, and explore your favorite celebrity lineups right there on the PrizePicks app. I got a 3-pick power play for tonight that I feel pretty good about. McCollum, more than 4.5 two-pointers made. Josh Hart, more than 6.5 rebounds. And then De'Aaron Fox, more than 11.5 points. Check that out. $34 payout, 81.60. McCollum, he's trying to be the villain right now. Games in Atlanta. McCollum's done this in his last 4 against the Knicks. I like him. Also, Josh Hart, been grabbing boards all series long, has 9+ in his last 4 games in a row. And Fox averages 18.6 points per game this season. I love the lineup. You guys can make the same one. It's so easy to use the app. You just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. And here's an offer for new users. If you download the PrizePicks app today and use code HMA, you get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. The link is in the comments section and description of today's video, and that is code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it is good to be right. Let's get an edge in the building. We entered the draft saying the Cardinals need right tackle and edge, and, well, they got neither, quite frankly. So I do have to resort to free agency here, and I'm going to put Joey Bosa as the first name on this list. I think Bosa's still a productive player. I think he's a big name, maybe a bigger name than his production in the last 4 seasons, but you could still, he's absolutely still a force and factor. I mean, 5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles last year. Are you kidding me? And Bosa, 30 years old, he could still play ball, right? It's not like he's a 20-year-old you bring into the room, but a 2-year, 3-year deal to fill that position in need. What's wrong with that? I would love to bring him in. 16 quarterback hits, too. He's hungry. He's angry to get after him. I wouldn't mind bringing in the Ohio State product who's 6'5", 280 at 30 years old to come on in and help out this Cardinals squad and help out Josh Sweat more than anybody, who was a really great free agent signing last time around for Monty Ossenfort. Let's do it again with Joey Bosa. Can you strike gold twice at the edge outside linebacker position? Speaking of, how about Haason Reddick, who's another big name, somehow still available here on the NFL free agents list that we have for you guys. You're going to see a few edges because the Cardinals did not necessarily address that. And Haason Reddick is the guy that, you go back to 2023, he had 11 sacks that year. Year before, we were talking about 16 sacks. This is a guy that can make an immediate impact for this Arizona Cardinals team. Now, he's a little bit older than Bosa. I don't know that he would choose the Cardinals. 31, so slightly older than Bosa, but and definitely a big drop-off since those 2 years. So I think I would prefer Bosa, but I would put him on the list here because of how impactful he was in Philadelphia. He could end up being relatively cheap after the last 2 seasons drop-off. Another one we're going to give you is Denico Autry. He's the one I was thinking of that was older but was absolutely a stud last year for the Houston Texans. At 35, it's almost ageless like Cam Jordan, who I could have put on this list as well. But he's even older. We're just getting too high in age here if I go past Denico Autry. But why I put him on here is because he was part of the best defense in football last year, and he had 3.5 sacks. He contributed to that. He played 12 games. He had 4 quarterback hits, 3 tackles for loss. He was such a good player, such a good veteran. I think that's a great player to bring into the room for Arizona. So I just wanted to list multiple good edges here to try and address that need. These guys are the older ones, the bigger names, the more accomplished ones, I would say, that I want you guys to be aware of as free agents. But one that's a little bit under the radar that actually makes sense for the Cardinals is Joey Bosa's counterpart in Buffalo last year, and that was A.J. Epenesa, who is now a free agent once again. After the Browns tried to sign him and that fell through, could the Cardinals take advantage and pounce on A.J. Epenesa? As I started to say, he is still available because he was going to Cleveland on a 1-year deal worth up to $5 million. So you can also get him for really cheap. And then he took his physical, and the Browns, quote, didn't feel comfortable with it. So perhaps bring him in the building at least, right? The Dolphins is a team that just hosted him. He visited them yesterday. Why not the Cardinals? Hey, we need an edge. It's a cheap, shot in the dark. If he hits, it's great upside. It's not too expensive for you, a team that has cap space. If it doesn't, well, what else were you going to do? You didn't draft an edge anyway. And over the last 4 seasons, I've been pretty hyped up about the A.J. Epenesa signing. It's a nice rotational edge or high-floor starter, almost the same way we talked about Denico Sutton in the NFL draft, who the Cardinals drafted Carson Beck over. 29 tackles, 2.5 sacks last year, 6 sacks the year before that, and you saw he had multiple years in a row of 6+ sacks. I like what we could get here from Epenesa from a value standpoint. Wouldn't be too expensive, and will be a player that will probably go play anywhere after not even getting signed by the Cleveland Browns of all teams. So let me know, guys, in the comment section, a free agent you want Arizona to bring in after the NFL draft. Those are 5 names I wanted to put out for you, but I got 5 more honorable mentions because there's a really good pool of players, big names that everybody, you're going to sit there, you're going to watch the video, you're going to be like, oh, he's available? Oh, he's a free agent? Yeah, he is. That's why I'm making this video. So I think there's some players the Cardinals could still go out and sign, and they have a decent amount of cap space. One more I'm going to throw at you as an honorable mention. Starts with Leonard Floyd. Outside linebacker, could also serve the edge opposite sweat spot. Like, he's a versatile guy that's had a lot of success in this league. And you want to talk about success in this league? Well, would not mind getting another linebacker like Bobby Wagner, the Hall of Famer in the making, who was balling last year for Washington, okay? I would not mind bringing him in. Again, the only thing with these players is the age, right? And Arizona is a team that maybe you're sitting there thinking, well, they're probably trying to get younger, but we're talking about needs that haven't been filled yet. If you want to actually try and look good on the football field next year, you're going to have to sign a couple of these guys to get you by until you keep getting more draft picks, because you really only had 7 this year. Marshon Lattimore is a name that's still out there. I'm a big believer in just adding corners. You can never have enough corners. Injuries, big plays over the top. Corners are some of the most valuable position in the league this year. That's in the NFL today. Like, that's why Sauce Gardner went for 2 first-round picks. So Lattimore's a free agent. So is Taylor Rapp. Interesting safety prospect that Arizona could bring in. Now, they signed Wingard, who was former Jacksonville Jaguar, to play free safety. I don't know that he is the best starting free safety option that the Jags have here. There's a couple of free agency they might want to take a look at. And then while we're on the subject of right tackle, I'm honorably going to mention Jack Conklin, who his problem is just that he gets hurt. He was playing last year. Wasn't amazing when he was out there, but serviceable at the right tackle spot. He just kept getting hurt. And so I don't envision him going back to the Browns, but I do think that someone Arizona could pick up again. Similar, like I said, about Taylor Decker, kind of a one-stop shop. Like, we didn't fill this need yet. You want to come on over for 1 to 2 years and plug and play. Veterans are good to do that. So that's the list of free agent targets for your Arizona Cardinals, guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're a huge fan. I'm your host, Joey O'Donoghue, and I'll have plenty of Cardinals content coming your way for free multiple days a week, every weekday. Don't miss out. I got you covered. I'll see you guys next time here on Cardinals Today.